Alright guys, welcome back to Cottom Customs. You can see I finally got all the shop pretty much finished up. I got to throw some lights up and that's about it, but I've got a ton of parts behind me. And that is for the first project, or the first customer project that we're going to run through the shop. It is an absolutely stunning 1972 Chevelle. Absolutely gorgeous. This thing has a, hang on, retake. I better open this like a man. 454 in it, where I think we're going to be putting a Pro Charger on this thing, but we're going to be replacing quarters, doors, hood, trunk, the entire floor. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you guys how to do the quarters, how to do the floors. We're pretty much, I think we're going to do firewall too, but I'm super stoked to share this with you guys. Hope everybody will like and subscribe and follow, and we'll get this thing going. We're all going to learn together on this, so stay tuned for this build series. So this is pretty much the project right now. The Blazer's on hold for the time being. I'm going to try and do both of them at the same time. Probably get all the metalwork done on this thing and then get the Blazer painted. But as of right now, this is my focus. I do have other builds coming in after this, so I'm going to have to hustle and get this thing out of here. And then depending how far the customer wants to go, we may do gaps. We may panel match. Just depends on what he wants. So go ahead and stick along for the journey. Super stoked to share this with you guys. So check it out, Chevelle is in the shop. This will be its resting place for the next couple of months. I'm gonna start by disassembling the whole entire front end. I'm gonna move to the doors after that, and then the trunk after that, and then hopefully get the body mounts loose on this thing so I can get it jacked up in the air and off the frame. So check it out, we got the entire front end pretty much torn down. I don't know if I'm gonna take off the radiator support, might leave it all on there, but fenders, hood, and everything are off. Lucky I'm replacing it because the wind blew over my hood last night and broke it all. So I may fix it, may keep it, I don't know. So we're gonna get the doors and the trunk and everything off, and then hopefully get the body unbolted, cleaned out, and off the frame. So doors are off. We've got some interesting stuff going on inside here. You look. I don't know if you can see that. So we got a crappy patch done right there. Looks like the wheel wells were rotted out at one point, but the other side is much worse. Insides of these are just hammered. Just absolutely hammered. I'm really glad this guy decided to replace all of this, because if I would have stripped this down to metal, we would have had to replace it anyway. But look at this side. I mean, this side's just atrocious. But, I mean, that's what happens when somebody tells you they can do it cheaper. So doors are off. Got the trunk off. We're going to move and get the steering column out right now. So check it out. It's a new day. Got the Chevelle all the way torn apart last night. I've got all the stuff right here. So you can see we got the doors, we got the hood, trunk, fenders. Other fenders right there. I'm actually gonna get everything moved right now because I'm gonna roll the Chevelle out. Hopefully it doesn't rain on me. It shouldn't. It rained earlier today, but it shouldn't rain right now. I'm gonna get the Chevelle rolled out because I have all my steel here to build my cart, to brace my body, and then also to build some special jack stands that I'm gonna use to get the body off the frame. I'm gonna show you guys all how to do that. So let's start by getting the car outside, and then I'm gonna start laying out my metal and building my frame. So what I have to do now that I got all this cleared out is I actually have to build a cart so that I can set the body on top of the cart and be able to roll around the body. That way I can move the body if I have to, and I also can move the frame if I have to. I can do all of my fabrication on my frame, and then also do all of my fabrication, like cutting out the floors and the quarters and everything on my body without having to put it back on the frame or jig something up. So I'm actually gonna build a really sturdy cart. That way I can use it in the future. So I'm actually going to start by measuring all of my pieces. I should have got enough. I spent about $1,000 just on metal to be able to build this cart and my jacks. So I'm gonna start cutting everything to size and then start welding everything together. I'll get it all mocked up and show you how it comes out. So I'll take you over to my advanced software system that I'm gonna use to show you what I'm gonna build. So this is my cart right here. You can see my wheels. It's gonna be 10 feet long this way and then 5 feet wide. And then I'm gonna build it 1.5 feet tall. Now it'll be a little bit taller because of my casters. These are my casters on each corner. The reason why I want it that short, we have one at work and I love it because we actually store ours vertically out of the way or horizontally out of the way. And it's super nice, super convenient. So next I'm gonna actually add these braces that I'm gonna weld to the body and to my frame. That way my car is solid and it won't move when I start cutting out all of my sheet metal. So these will probably be like 2 feet tall. That way I can get into this cart, cut out my floor, do all my metal fabrication, weld everything back together, and then I'll just cut those off before I take it off the cart and put it back on the frame. Here's my cart right there, looking from the top down. I need 6 pieces that are 1.5 for the height right here. I need 4 10-foot pieces, which are these long ones, top and bottom, and then I need 6 5-foot pieces, which are all these ones going across. So let's start getting this put together. All right, so check it out. I got all of my tubing cut. You can see I've got these are my tall pieces. So that's my height, 1.5 feet. Then my second one is my width. I got 6 of those, 3 for the top, 3 for the bottom. And then I got 4 of the 10 feet, and that'll be my length, top and bottom. So this is pretty much all the sheet metal that I need. This is for other stuff that's gonna help me lift the cars. I'm actually gonna build some really nice jacks with this. I'll show you guys how to do that and save a little bit of money. I know from like Harbor Freight, the big jacks are like $600, and I think I only spent like $200 on all this metal. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that tomorrow. So we got a lot done today. Got pretty much everything cut. So first thing tomorrow, I'm going to, oh my gosh, I am filthy. But first thing tomorrow, I'm gonna weld everything together, get that cart built. You can see it's pretty dark. I gotta get home to the wife. So I will see you guys in the morning. Alrighty, back at it, another day. You can see it's raining on me again. It's gonna rain all week long, but I got all of my metal right here. I had to go to Harbor Freight and get a couple tools, some levels, some clamps, some magnets. I'm gonna get everything welded on my cart today. I'm gonna start by spacing it off the ground, making sure everything's level, and then start welding my base, and then get the top welded off of that. Okay, so check it out. I started by tacking all of my corners, making sure everything's set, and then I started welding everything out. I went all the way around each tube just to make sure I got good enough penetration, and I want this thing to be pretty strong. So I'm gonna finish building this other base, and then I'm gonna add the supports going up and set them on top of each other and finish up the cart. All right, check it out. Another day starting to work on the Chevelle. I actually brought help today. Got the 3 mutts here helping me. So check it out. This is my body cart that I built. It actually turned out really sturdy. I'm super happy with it. Welds came out nice. For a small welder, I had to crank that thing all the way up, but it looks super good. It's super sturdy. It's gonna be able to do what I need it to do. And I'm gonna be able to roll this body around the shop and work on it. I also went to Harbor Freight and bought a ton of tools just to be able to do all of this. So I'm gonna show you all the tools now. So here's a couple of the tools that I got just to get started. Shout out to Harbor Freight. Got my couple pairs of clamps, a ton of magnets to be able to get my metal mocked up where I want it to be. I love these belt sanders. They are absolutely amazing. I bought one 3 years ago and it still works perfect. And then just some die grinders, angle grinder, and then just a small air hammer. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Got some drill bits, all my adapters. I absolutely love these. I recommend these because I've used them for a while now and they're cheaper than anybody else and they last a very long time. So now that I got all that set up, I'm going to get my jack stands built and I'll show you how I do that. So check it out. These are the swivel attachments. Just makes it so you can get your tool up in an area and your hose doesn't get in your way. You can bend this and move this wherever you want. I absolutely love these things. I pretty much got them on all my tools. Most of this stuff I've never used before, so I'll let you guys know if this stuff works really well. This is a hole puncher from Harbor Freight. I think it was only like 80 bucks or something like that, but it was way better than the $250 off the Cornwall truck. So I'll let you guys know if I recommend these tools or not. Okay, so to show you exactly what I'm trying to build, I'll take you over to my super special software engineering program. You can see, so these are the jack stands I'm gonna build. So this jack stand right here is like 24 inches tall. And so I wanna be able to double my height pretty much to be able to take my bodies off the frame. So I'm gonna have this big main piece right here, which is actually already set up. And then I've got thinner pieces over there. And I have a piece that'll actually slide inside this thick piece. I'll drill some holes. That way I can run a trailer hitch bolt through it and be able to set my desired height. And then I have some angle iron that I'm gonna build supports out all the way around, 4 of them. And then I'm gonna have a square base on the bottom, that way it's sturdy. So I'm gonna get to cutting these pieces right now, and then I will cut these next, make sure everything looks good, and then I'll build my supports off of that. Alrighty, so check it out. I got my pieces cut down. You can see this is my 6-ton jack stand. You can see this one right here is a little bit longer. I wanted it like that just because when I want this up, I want it to be able to at least stay 6 inches in. So, I mean, I can get a pretty good height out of this. So now that that's done, I'm going to get my base built out and weld it onto the bottom. And then all I have to do is build my top plate and drill my holes and then repeat that with all the other 4. And then I'm finished. Okay, so check it out. I got everything kind of roughed out. Now I've got all of these pieces marked at 4 different spots. What my plan is this is gonna be a square base. So I'm just gonna cut half of this all the way across and then hopefully be able to bend it. That way I don't have to cut and re-weld everything. So we'll see how it goes. So check it out. I got the slits cut. They all look really good. I also notched this a little bit so that hopefully I'll be able to bend it. So now I should just be able to stick my foot in here and slowly bend it up just like that. So now I'll get it square all the way around and then do the rest, and that'll be the base, and then I'll figure out how to attach it to my bars. Alrighty, so check it out. I got my bases built. I welded them on both sides, that way they're super strong. Next thing that I'm gonna do is I have to figure out where this is going to sit and how I'm going to weld the base to my other base. I'm probably gonna do some supports across here like this, and then I'll do some braces coming this way on each side. That way it's supported vertically and horizontally. And then that should be that. All that's left now is I'll have to drill one hole right here, and then I'll have to drill all the holes in the other piece and then build a top for my stand. And then these things are all finished up. so check it out. I got all of the bases pretty much done. I'm gonna add a couple more supports coming probably from here to these corners just to make sure it stays where I want it to stay. So I'm gonna do that right now, weld those on, and then it'll be time to drill my holes and throw on my top piece. So I finally got everything all welded up. These things are super, super sturdy. So now all I have to do is drill my holes, and then the top pieces will go on. So I got all the jacks all finished up. You can see they're adjustable. I just did it to 3 heights. And they look really nice. They're pretty, probably like 5 feet tall. You can see the shop is an absolute disaster. So I'm gonna move all this, clean everything up, and then get my cart back inside. Hopefully start working on the body now. All right, so it's Memorial Day today. I'm gonna get my jack stands all finished up. That way I can get my Chevelle off my frame, hopefully, and get my body welded to my body cart. So let's get it. So my plan is I have to build a base for these. And I think I'm gonna just make it out of 2 angle iron pieces that I'm gonna weld together and then weld to the bottom of this. That way I can set some bars on top of them and it'll run across underneath the body. I actually have the bars right here. I cut them already. See those 2 long bars? So those will go across the body, and then they'll sit on each jack stand. That way I'll be able to roll the frame out from underneath the body. It's just a cheap way to do it instead of spending thousands of dollars and buying a lift. So I'm gonna start doing that right now, and then hopefully we'll get the Chevelle off the frame. Alrighty, so check it out. All the jack stands are finished. You can see you can set these to 3 different heights. This first one it can go a little bit lower than that, but that's pretty much the lowest that it'll go. This top one actually sits at, what, 44 inches, 43 inches? So I mean, it's a good amount off the ground. It should be high enough to be able to get the bodies all the way out. The only thing is, what I used to do at my old job was we would get these sketchy buckets and we'd just set our jack stands all the way on top and pieces of wood, and it was very, very sketchy. So I decided to build these. It'll be a little bit more secure. You can see this will be nice for like little stuff for working on the car, but I mean, this is about 6 to 8 inches taller at the at the bottom height. These pins are super cool that I got. So they actually turn and lock just like this. But to pull them out, they just come out like this, and then this piece comes out with it. If you want to lock it back in, I always lose stuff, so I figured it'd be better I get something that doesn't come off. So you just push it in like that, and then it's not able to come off, which is going to be super nice. Like I said, I'm going to be using these a lot for like mostly my body stuff and like getting the car in the air and all that. But these are going to be really nice to get the bodies off the frame, and if I have to get something a little bit higher than this, I'll just be able to do it a little bit safer this way. So I'm gonna get the car in now and start getting ready to get the body off the frame. Alrighty, so first things first, I got the car in the garage. I need to get all the interior cleaned out, everything out of the trunk pulled out, and the tarps off my motor gone. I need to unbolt my steering column first, and then after that, there's probably 6 or 8 body bolts on this. Hopefully they come out easy and I don't have to cut them off. But I'm gonna get those off. And then after that, I'll be able to start to jack up the car and get my stands underneath it and get it out. So this will probably be the last time you guys see the car on the frame for a minute. So I'm in the middle of trying to get my steering column out, and I can't get it past my header. So there's like no room in there. So I'm gonna have to pull off the header. May as well pull off the other header. Luckily there's no exhaust, as you can see back there. There's no exhaust attached, so it'll just be, hopefully I'll be able to unbolt it and slide it that way, but I mean, who knows. So I'm gonna get that unbolted and then the steering column should come right up. Alrighty, so check it out. Steering column is out. I also got both of the headers off. They're both right there. I'm gonna work on getting the brake booster off now. Reason why is I don't want to disconnect any of these lines yet. And I need to get this pedal assembly unbolted, which is bolted to that brake booster. So I'm gonna get that unbolted and then that should be everything. I got a couple like miscellaneous things like the throttle cable that I'll have to feed through. But other than that, it'll be time to unbolt the body bolts and then start to jack this thing up off the frame. But I got everything removed off of the firewall. The body's pretty much ready to come off. I had to cut my e-brake cable just because the top of it was mushroomed and it's supposed to slide through. So we're gonna have to order a new one of those. The throttle cable was absolutely destroyed, so we're gonna have to order a new throttle cable. But other than that, everything is disconnected. So next step will be, I'm gonna get my new doors and I'm actually gonna line up my new doors to my quarters. And then once I know that the body's exactly where I want it to be, shim wise, I'm gonna weld in supports or braces. That way when I take this off the frame, my body doesn't twist or move at all. And when I cut my floor out, it won't move and I won't have any problems. It'll stay structural. So I'm gonna get the doors lined up and then I'm gonna start to cut my braces for it. And then it's pretty much time to get it off the frame after that. So these are the brand new reproduction doors that we purchased. We've got both of them there. And then we've got brand new door hinges. We've got the door latches. We've got the strikers. And then new door handles. So all of this, I'm gonna get all of this mocked up, make sure my door closes smoothly. All my gaps are good. And then once all my gaps are good and the door closes smoothly, so then I'll grind some spots where I can weld, and then I'm gonna weld in all my braces. All right, so I'm starting to get my door mocked up, but as you can see, I have a horrendous gap. I can't even get the door to latch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw in some 1/8" spacers just to move the door back a little bit. You can see it sits a little bit in front of the rocker, but I think with just that 1/8", it'll line it up perfect with the rocker and give me the gap that I need back here. All right, so check it out. I finally got the first door lined up. You can see the gap is not as terrible as it could be, but it's pretty bad. So I'm probably going to have to either see how my quarter fits. Hopefully it fixes my gap a little bit. If not, I'm probably gonna have to weld to the edge of my door just to tighten up that gap just a hair. You can see my bottom, there's like hardly any gap at all, but these rockers are completely screwed up. Like you can see that one's cracking from where I am hitting it with the door right there. It's terrible. So luckily those are getting replaced, but my door is just a tiny bit high, but I can't get it to go down anymore because the rockers are completely effed. But like I said, we got brand new ones. Other than that, I'm really close up here, but that's okay. It lines up good right there. Okay, so we finally got the passenger door all lined up. This door actually lined up a little bit better. The gap's a little bit tighter, but still there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Okay, so I finally got the X brace put in. This will just keep my body from moving left and right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 braces going from the top of my X to the front, and then I'll do 1 across. That way it's all completely braced and nothing moves. I got all of my body braces in. You can see I did an X in the back. This just keeps everything exactly where it should be. I'm going to be cutting out all the supports. But I did this lower brace right here just in case to give my front a little bit more support if it's a little heavy. But this should be sturdy enough. So now that the body's braced, it's time to undo all of my body bolts. There should be like 6 or 8 of them. Get those undone, and then I'm going to start jacking it up to get the body off of the frame. So we're on the back of the car right now. These 2 body mounts I had to use a Sawzall and cut off. And then I've got 2 more body mounts up in here. This one's spinning. The problem is I can't get to it, so I'm gonna have to cut a hole in the trunk. I'm replacing the floor anyway, so it'll be fine. But it's somewhere right here. I'm gonna cut a hole right here and then hopefully get to the top of that so that it stops spinning and unbolt it. That's the hole I had to cut in the floor to be able to get that body mount out. Now, of course, these 2 are spinning. Same thing on that side. I guess Chevy did a little, it's like a little square threaded piece that has 2 metal flanges that come up that hold it in place. The problem is mine are rusted, so when I twist them, it opens those little metal flanges and then it just spins in there. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get that out. I think I'm gonna jack up the car and get from underneath and drill or grind off the head of that bolt. That way I can get my body off my frame. So I'm gonna do that right now, and then the body should be ready to come off. So check it out, after 3 hours-ish of grinding, I finally was able to cut those bolts off. What I had to do was, you can see there's a tiny bit of room up here. I had to stick my Sawzall in there from the other side and cut it off because you really can't get to it from here. I couldn't grind it from there. And you have to stick your bolt all the way up through the frame. And so it'd be really hard to grind in there. So now all the body mounts are off. I disconnected the gas line, and so now it's time to get this thing off the frame. So now this was my first time using these jack stands, and I absolutely love them. They worked perfectly. They gave me the perfect height. Really, all I have to do now is get that fuel tank disconnected, and then I'll be able to roll this body right out. Finally got the body off of the frame. You can see we got the frame pulled outside. So I was right, there were 10 body mounts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These 2 don't have bolts in them. They're just bushings, but I had literally had to cut all of these off. they were all stuck. So now that that's off, you can see my jack stands actually worked out very, very well. I might drill a couple more holes in them just so I don't have to move it as much. It was a little sketchy moving it that much, so I might drill some new holes. But other than that, now what I have to do is I have to get this back evened up with the front so that the body of my car is horizontal. And then I'll slide my cart underneath, my body cart, and then I'm going to get some brackets, build some brackets for my frame out, and then mount them, weld them to my body. And then do the same thing with the rear, and then I can pull these jack stands off and move my body around with the body cart. Alrighty, so I got the body off of the frame. You can see I got the frame right here outside, and then I've got the body on the jack stands right now. I'm gonna get ready to weld onto the table, but first I have to get rid of that big old gas tank back there because I think I'm gonna do some welding supports onto the trunk if I have to. I got all of my supports welded from the body to my stand, same thing on the back. I had to put a bar across this. That's why I have 2 of these bars left over so that I can adjust these. So I tacked those in place, tacked them in place up there. And then I also decided to run 1 more brace from here up to my top on both sides. That way there's no movement at all in here. It looks pretty cool, honestly, but should be good now. Shouldn't move anywhere. Everything's braced and supported. My gaps are all still shit, my gaps are all still pretty bad, but I'm gonna have to figure all that out when I get the floor out and then start to do my quarters. So I'm pretty much gonna do everything on this cart. I'm going to have to move my mounts around a little bit to be able to do, for example, I'm replacing the firewall, so I'm gonna have to move these mounts, and then this mount right here is just completely trash from underneath, you could see. So I'm gonna have to replace that mount right there. And see, I got a rust spot right there. But other than that, I'll just have to move some of my mounts around, which is nice because these bars I could just cut and move. But check this out. I mean, somebody just torched the crap out of this thing. It looks like they tried to do some panel repair because this looks new right here. And then same thing on that side, that looks new, but you could see right where they cut it in. And then same thing on this side right here. It looks like the wheel well is new just because of this part, but they just did an absolutely horrendous job putting this in. And it's the same thing right here. You can see they did a patch there. This looks new, except they screwed this up. They didn't even cut any of this out. You see all that? They just threw it right on top. So just didn't do a very good job. So luckily we're gonna be able to do this right now. Check this out. So last thing I'll show you is these rockers. They somewhat replaced them. And then same thing on this side. This side's just freaking, both the rockers are pretty bad, but they especially didn't do a good job on this side. So they just left all the rest of the rot and just patched a piece in. So like I said, let me show you some of the parts that we have over here. So I have a brand new trunk floor and a complete floor with rockers. So all of that is gonna get replaced. It's gonna look really good and it's gonna be really sturdy. All right, so last thing I'm gonna do before the end of this video is I'm gonna get the jack stands out from underneath this, underneath the body, and then pull these bars out. So the body will pretty much be on the cart and I'll be able to roll it around. So let's get that done. Alrighty, check it out, guys. I finally got it on my cart. So you can see all the braces and everything are in. Coolest part though is it can roll around. So it's gonna be super nice. Now I can move it around, do all the work that I need to do on it. There's enough space in here so that I can cut out the floor, cut out all the rockers. I can still open my doors, do all that, and I'll be able to slide it in through this space and do it all here. Other than that, that's pretty much it for this video. Next video, I'm going to be cutting out the floors, the front floor, probably the trunk too, and then hopefully the firewall. It's on order, but we'll see when it'll come in. Alrighty, so thanks so much for watching today's video. Be sure to subscribe and leave your comments. Let me know if there's things that I can do better. I'm still learning at all this, so I appreciate all the support and knowledge that a lot of people have, and I'm a pretty easy learner, so I would appreciate that. Other than that, that's pretty much it for this video. So next video, we're gonna be cutting out the floors, cutting out the trunk floor, probably wheel wells as well, and hopefully firewall. It's still coming, so we'll see about that, but be sure to subscribe and stay tuned because I'm gonna be doing a full build on this Chevelle, and then after that, I've got a couple other vehicles. I've got my 74 Blazer I'm gonna be doing, and I've got my 69 Mustang that I'm also gonna be building. So stay tuned for those builds. This one, of course, is first. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.